Hello, everyone. I'm here with Jessica Abbott. Hello, Jessica.
Hi, Trish. Nice to see you.
You are with the Raritan Valley Habitat for Humanity.
I am.
Excellent.
Yes.
Jessica, can you please tell everyone what Habitat for Humanity is, who founded the organization, and what year was it created?
Absolutely. So, Habitat for Humanity is an international organization. Lots of people have heard of it. It was publicized mostly by the Carters. I think they were kind of our first big public face. But it was founded in 1971, actually, by the Fullers. And it was founded in Georgia, and it has a long history of creating safe places for people to live throughout the country. Our affiliate was founded in 1991, so we are all having birthdays next year. We will have or significant ones. We're going to have our 35th, and Habitat International will be having its 75th.
Wow, that's amazing. Now you've been with the Raritan Valley Habitat since 2021. You became executive director in 2024.
I did.
Yes,
I did.
excellent.
Thank you.
What inspired you to join the Habitat? And what has
Honestly,
that journey been so far?
it's been quite a journey. So I had been my history and my startings in the professional world were in publishing and writing and editing. So I kind of came from almost and some marketing. So I came from that background initially. Then I stopped and raised my kids. And while I was doing that, got really involved in nonprofit. And so while I was in nonprofit, I worked with the 100 in Hospice. I as a volunteer. I was a school board vice president for I was on the school board for 6 years and vice president for about 3 of those years. And I felt like I was kind of entrenched in healthcare at that point quite a
Mhm.
lot and education. And I was really intrigued by the role that housing plays in all of our systems, right? Housing is so fundamental to education and health. So when I was then kind of looking around for what to do next, I was surprised to find that we had a Habitat affiliate in our area. I had never heard of it, in our part of New Jersey. So
Right.
that was really exciting to me. So I reached out.
Yeah, I mean, Habitat's mission has always been what? To build homes, communities, and definitely hope for families who've never had a home. Can you
Habit
explain Can you explain what that looks like in a day-to-day, for Habitat?
Absolutely. So Habitat's mission is to putting God's love into action. We bring people together to build homes, community, and hope. And I feel like all of those elements are really important. That we are not just we have housing construction companies, in this
Oh,
world. We are not a housing construction company. We do build homes, but the bringing people together is a pivotal and like very fundamental part of our mission. And that kind of creating community. And I think that what that looks like in day to day for us is obviously we build homes, we sell those homes to people at affordable prices so that they can kind of fit into their lives and be able to prioritize other things like education and food security and healthcare. In addition to that, we try to keep people in affordable homes. So we have a repair program that works with people who are income insecure but are really successful homeowners. But when your roof leaks,
right,
and you need to
right,
replace
right,
a roof, we can't all
right.
spend $15,000 on a roof. That's a big hit, right?
Yeah,
So or you might need minor accessibility upgrades
right.
or those kinds of things. So on a day-to-day basis, there are all these ways that we support affordable housing that are sometimes invisible, and I think that we support affordable housing in neighborhood revitalization projects where we support other organizations and communities to sort of have communal spaces and services that can further service communities that need extra support.
Yeah, I didn't realize when you just mentioned that you build these homes. I've been asked to volunteer, by the way. I am on that list to
Oh,
volunteer.
good.
So so on the day-to-day, so if I volunteered, and I believe you have different categories you can volunteer for, correct? And
Absolutely.
so would you be teaching someone like me? Let's say I volunteered to be a builder, because I know you have builders, you have painters, correct? You have all these different levels that
Yes.
a volunteer can move into. So in the day to day, let's say I volunteer. to be one of the builders. Obviously, I don't know how to build, Jessica, so I'm
And that
assuming
would
you
be fine. Well, you just have to show up with a smile and a willingness to
okay.
learn, right? So you come onto one of our sites, and it is I'm completely biased, by the way. First of all, obviously, this is, I love this. So, but it is such an incredible experience. You show up on a build site, and we have our core volunteers. So we have people who come, either every other day or, a few times a week, and they are on our build sites. They move. We have volunteers that have built homes with us for almost 20 years. So we have people who have
Oh,
been here forever. And a lot of them are retired contractors, people who have been in the industry. So we have a really incredible library of
right,
expertise,
right.
which is amazing, and we draw on that. And then we have all of our other volunteers, many of whom learn on the job. And it's wonderful. And people join us for one day sometimes. They join us and they get hooked and they come back, which is really
Right.
nice. And they learn
Yeah.
new skill sets. We have actually downstairs, as you and I are speaking, we have a community of volunteers right now who are meeting on a different topic. But in that group of people is a woman, Caitlin, who's been volunteering with us for far longer than I've been here. She builds homes all over the world. She goes and
Wow.
builds with Habitat in other countries. She builds in every place she goes, she gets involved in a Habitat. And
Yeah.
so, and she knows how to do everything now. Caitlin I would trust her to lay a roof.
Then maybe she should come to my house and lay my roof. So is there a chapter in every state?
So I believe I'm trying that would be a bit I don't want to quite make that claim, but I believe so. I believe in all 50 states. And I would say multiple in many. So in New Jersey alone, we have 14 affiliates. So we all represent different footprints. And if you think
Right.
about it, that makes sense depending on how densely populated you are, because different areas have different needs, right? The needs in Hunterdon and Somerset counties might be different from, say, the needs even in southern New Jersey. That we have different, some of us have more space than others, some of us have more aging populations, some of us have younger populations. So we all need help, especially in New Jersey, which is so expensive. We all need help generating and supporting affordable housing and affordable homes.
Mhm.
Um, but we don't all need the same exact programs to the same exact levels. So we have
Right.
found in Hunter and Somerset, our
Right.
repair program is really, really important. We have a higher percentage of aging residents in our counties, which means
Mhm.
we have a lot of homeowners who newly find themselves needing accessibility upgrades. They newly find themselves, suddenly your bottom stair is wiggly and you no longer can get down on all fours to do it, but you've always fixed it before in the past, but now
Right.
you can't fix it anymore. That's a bigger issue and a priority for us than maybe that would be. I can't make this generalization because I don't know what their needs are, but possibly it would be in, say, an area of New Jersey where maybe younger professionals are a higher, are a higher um,
Right, right.
level of your
And you
population.
also mentioned something about you sell these homes. I didn't realize that you actually sold these homes. I believed that you came in, you built these homes, and I don't know why I would think that you were giving these homes to families.
A lot of people do think that, so you're not alone.
Okay,
But we do
okay.
not give away these homes. So these homes are all purchased. We work in New Jersey, and this is something that differentiates New Jersey from some other states, right? We vary in kind of how we work. But in New Jersey, we work within the affordable housing system. That means that all of our homeowners are certified as, whether if we're building a home that's designated low income, they're certified low income. If it's moderate income, they're designated moderate income. So all of our
Okay,
homes are then sold at an affordable price designated by that affordable housing system, right? So they give us like a maximum resale price. So
okay.
within that, our houses are deed restricted. That means that our homeowners can't then turn around and resell their homes at market value. Those
Oh, they
resale
cannot.
prices,
They cannot.
no, those resale prices are dictated by the state. It kind of increases value each year based on kind of tracks inflation. And so, but then we do sell those homes. Our homeowners qualify for mortgages. They, you know,
Mhm,
absolutely buy and they pay regular mortgage payments. They pay their
mhm.
taxes. They pay their homeowners
Right,
insurance. They
right.
own their
But
homes outright.
they cannot sell that home.
Not at market rate. They can sell it, but if they sell it within the affordable housing system. So they would have to
Okay,
sell it to another qualified home buyer,
I
or in
understand.
most cases, we have first right of refusal. So they could resell it back to us in many cases. If
Right.
we didn't wanna buy it, then they would have to sell it to somebody else that was certified low or moderate, depending on the designation of
Right.
their home.
Now, is Habitat for Humanity, competing with other contractors? I mean, for the land? I mean, to build these homes?
That's a good question. I generally speaking, Habitat builds in on plots of land that aren't as appealing to for-profit contractors.
Okay.
You know, if you're a for-profit contractor and you're building affordable homes, in many cases, you're building them as a percentage of how many homes you're building. So
And they're
if
not
now
building them for affordable, Jessica.
they're not building them for affordable, but they are building them. They often designate a piece of them, right? So, like, if you're building, say, 100 units of market rate homes, sometimes you will build a percentage of them will be affordable, and then you get different kinds of arrangements with a town.
Okay.
And so, in those, though, you're looking at different kinds of land. The nice thing about Habitat and smaller nonprofit builders is that we're building 100% affordable, right? So everything we're building is going to be affordable. And we can place ourselves in sometimes smaller pockets of land that communities aren't necessarily using. And they're just kind of going to waste, right? You're like, oh,
Right.
there's this one little
Yeah.
plot next to the firehouse or next to the whatever. And
Right.
we can build a home. We can work with a community and build homes that fit kind of seamlessly in with the neighborhood, fit in with the municipality's priorities, and we don't stress their infrastructures very much, right? Because we're not building 100 units just to get 20
Right.
affordable.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not building 100 units. You build
We're
how many
not.
do you build a certain time?
So it really in our affiliates case, right? It has varied. We like a year ago, we closed on 4 houses in 1 year, but then we kinda had a
Oh, okay.
rebuild year, and now we're building a duplex in White House Station. So, we average somewhere in that, like, 1 to 3 per year, but you'd have to there would it fluctuates based on
I
just
see.
when we get
I
the
see.
land, when the funding comes in, and how that goes. It's actually a big
Right.
goal of ours to even that process out a little bit. We'd like to even our flow.
Okay. And then the town sends their inspectors to inspect the home to make sure it's up to par,
Oh, yeah.
correct? Everything's inspected before it gets sold to make sure that the house is stable,
Yeah.
and a volunteer like me didn't come in and,
Well,
now
remember, our volunteers are crucial in everything we do. We
I
always
know,
have, yeah, I mean, and all of our we have licensed contractors, we have all of the things that require permits. Yes, we have all the right we do all the permitting, the inspecting, the everything. And then also we receive funding in many cases from state or federal funding sources. So we are building to, in many, many cases, you know, more rigorous specifications than
okay,
people might think
true.
we do. We have Energy Star certifications. We have depending on what we're building where, but we build wonderful homes that are safe and sound and definitely inspected and absolutely, uh, while volunteers participate, they aren't leading the charge. They're
Right,
always under the
exactly,
tutelage.
exactly. Now, of course, everybody can't qualify, or let's say everybody can be overqualified. I mean, there are
Yeah.
certain correct I mean, I'm sure someone from, a affluent town
Yes.
wanted to come in and could not buy one of these homes. I mean, these homes are regulated to a way to serve a certain population, correct?
Yes. So you have to first you get certified for your affordable housing designation, right? So first the state has to say, yes, you do qualify as low income or moderate income, depending on the
What
designation.
is low
Once
income, Jessica?
low income is 50% of the area median income. So it varies
Okay,
based on how many people live in your home. So I mean, I could give you all the numbers, but it's a little bit boring. But it's basically if you take the median income and you have 50%. So for our area, that's actually pretty high, right? For 100 in Somerset and Middlesex counties, that's region 3. That's what we qualify. That's like what we go by. That's a pretty
okay,
high income level. For moderate income, it's 80% of the area median income. So that's it varies depending and it increases with the number of humans you have living in your house. And
right,
in order to
okay,
figure out how much your income is, it's how
right.
much is the total income of your household. So that's everybody who's 18 and over in your house has to list what their income is. And then we see what
Oh,
the total income of the household is. So that's how you figure out how you qualify for your designation. And then for the Habitat program, we also want to make sure you're going to be a successful homeowner, right? So we do
Of
also
course.
try to make sure that you have enough money that you're going to be able to pay anticipated monthly payments using 30% or less of your income, right? So we want to make sure that you're not going to be blowing your entire monthly check on your
Well,
mortgage
you wanna
tax.
make sure that they can cover the mortgage, of course, and it's normally rated a third of
Yep.
whatever income you're making, so I'm sure that's something looked at and people have to qualify for that. But for families who dream about being homeowners, sometimes it feels out of reach for them, especially now in these times where everything is so expensive. How does Habitat make those dreams possible?
So we're really I always think of us as a bridge where, that lots of organizations do different really important things in the affordable housing landscape, right? We are not a shelter system. We don't provide emergency housing. There are lots of things we don't do. What we
Okay,
do really well is form a bridge for people who are almost there. People who
nice.
would love to become homeowners and it's just outside their reach. We're like that step up, right?
Right.
Maybe you just can't look, housing here is so expensive.
Yeah,
It's like, can you pull together $500,000 or, the down payment on five? It's crazy, right? Those
yeah,
those payments are crazy. So what we are if you are somebody who has been working very hard on building a very small nest egg, you've been working really consistently, your credit is good, and what you can do is you can afford like the homes that we're selling in White House Station are $180,000 each, and that's for 3-bedroom homes in White House Station with the two
wow,
sides of the
wow.
duplex.
That's
That's a
very
really
affordable.
big difference, right? Now, because of our subsidy, because we subsidize that build, and because we receive donations and because we receive great funding, we have amazing volunteers, right? Because we can build those homes and because clearly it costs us much more than that to build it, but we
Of
can build those
course.
homes and then sell them at that reduced rate so that somebody who isn't quite to the place where they can buy a home in these counties, now they can. Right?
Yeah,
Now you can build that. Now you're not gonna get rich off of it, like, you're not gonna turn around and sell it for $600,000 tomorrow.
right,
That's
right,
because you
right.
can't sell it at market
No,
rate.
right.
But it is like a savings account. You're still building equity, right? Your mortgage payments are paying yourself, right? You're building
Yep.
equity in a home. You can sell that home. This is still yours. You're not paying rent. You're not flushing that toilet into somebody else's mortgage, right? You are putting this into your own nest egg. And so we end up then creating future generations of homeowners because
Yep.
now we've stopped that cycle where most of our homeowners are first generation homeowners. So we've stopped that cycle now where all of your money is going to a landlord for you to never see again.
Right,
Now you're paying yourself, hopefully less than you would be paying in our crazy rental landscape,
right.
right? And you're building equity at the same time. And while you're doing that, you're building your own ability to invest in your education, your children's education. You're giving yourself peace of mind, having a stable place, right? All of those things that we know come from that. You have a
Oh,
kitchen you can
definitely.
cook in, right?
Yeah,
You have access to better services.
yeah.
So this is our hope.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is the equity thing. It's just
Yes,
the biggest thing. You're building equity. Your money's just not being funded somewhere else. You're not spending it. You're not squalling it by renting. You're actually building generational wealth, so to
exactly.
speak, because
Yes,
you're building this equity and you're building this home for your family and your children. And I think it's just fantastic. What are some of the biggest challenges that the Habitat has in building these affordable homes? Is it land? Is it zoning? Is it funding? Or is it
it's funding.
volunteers?
I
It's
mean,
funding.
funding is we're very lucky with volunteers. We always need more. I don't mean to say not come. But we're so lucky. Like we have such great volunteers. And
Yeah,
honestly, right now, we're pretty I mean, land is always a challenge. Of course. We need
yeah,
land. We always need land. And in our
yeah.
counties, New Jersey is a populated area, 100 in Somerset, we need space for sure. Um, but I would say our biggest challenge is the funding, especially right now, that federal funding and state funding's in question. The Affordable Housing Trust Fund in New Jersey, which is a major funder of programs like ours, has now been redirected completely toward other. Now, they've refunded just in the last little bit, they've refunded some, but it's been primarily redirected to other programs, good programs, but not
Right.
our programs, not generating homes, right? Not generating the housing stock. And so
Yeah.
without that, and our HUD home funds are at risk federally right now. We'll see what happens. We're all kind of waiting on eggshells here. But those two funding sources are greatly at risk right now and kind of terrifying for organizations like ours. In addition to that, we really count on individual corporate. We count on community partnerships and donations and grant funding and individual funding all the time. Where it's a
Yeah.
constant struggle to figure out how do we
Yeah.
balance, how do we keep our programs running?
How do you right. Do you have
Um,
fundraisers?
we do. Thank you for asking. We actually have a gala coming up on October 3rd, which you can come to. It's
Okay.
our biggest annual fundraiser of every year.
Okay.
This is going to be at the Stone House at Sterling Ridge in Warren, New Jersey. It's going to be an amazing night. We have a couple of incredible homeowners are gonna be speaking. It's just gonna be a lot of fun. It's a beautiful space. We're really, really excited, and there's information on our website at rvhabitat.org. You can go on there and find out about tickets or sponsorships. It's gonna be a really great night, and afterwards, you always come having felt, like, full up. You feel
Yeah.
at least for me, I feel like
Oh,
my cup is filled. It's such a nice night.
that's fantastic. I will link that in the description, so if people wanna buy,
Wonderful.
wanna buy, I'll link your website, and also, if you already have a link to the gala, I can go ahead
Absolutely.
and link that. I think that's fantastic. But
Great.
beyond building homes, your affiliate also focuses on home repair. So
Yes.
that's also an amazing thing that you offer these homeowners. So you're just not throwing them out there. Okay, there's your home. Bye bye. You
Right. Well,
you
and
stay in contact with them.
well, yes, and I think that our homeowners participate in the building of their homes as well, and so they
Oh,
contribute.
okay.
Not only do they buy their homes, but our homeowners contribute what we call sweat equity. So between the time that they're
I didn't know
selected
that.
for our
That's yeah.
program, yeah, between the time that they're selected for our program and when they close on their house, they contribute between 200 and 400 hours of work
Wow.
toward our mission. Some of that's on the job site, some of that's in financial development workshops, some of that's in first-time home buyer, workshops, figuring out what all of this means. And they're on site if they're physically able, because what we want is for everyone to, gain some some knowledge on how to fix things, how to use a
Right.
hammer, also to
Yeah.
develop community. So we have our home repair program is obviously there for our homeowners as well as any homeowners in our counties who are, at meet our income levels. But
Mhm.
what they also graduate with and they get to the signing table with is a real community. So suddenly they have friends that they've worked alongside in our building things. So if they're first time home buyers or first generation home buyers and they're suddenly like, "Ugh, my window is shaky. What do I do? Who do I call?"
Right.
They have a community
Yeah.
of people to call, right? Which we don't all have when we're first generation homeowners, right? You don't know those people. You don't know how to go through it. But when you've been on a job site with 10 people over the course of 6 to 8 months, suddenly, I'm gonna
Gain some
call Frank.
confidence. Yeah, you
Yeah,
gain
like,
some
I'm gonna
confidence.
totally, and so we really do I feel like that's a thing that separates our program from a lot of homeownership programs, is you don't just have a house at the end, right? You have a house, you have neighbors, you have family, you have people that you've been working next to, and you have
Yeah.
somebody to call. Yes, and
I
but
think yeah.
yeah, and our repair program also can supplement it, but that's even
Oh,
different.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jessica, how has your vision shaped this organization in the direction it is now?
Wow. I mean, I honestly, this is such a vibrant team. When I came in as executive director, I'd already
Uh-huh.
been here for a long time. So I knew I was madly in love with everybody here, right?
Okay.
No one here does it for anything other than a passion for a cause. You don't work for a nonprofit for the money. Um, we're all
Right.
here because we believe in it.
Yes, of course.
So
Of
I
course.
think, but we all are different leaders, and I inherited this role from an unbelievably great, executive director and a history of great executive directors. I think that prior to my coming in, we did a really big push. We did a lot. We really showed what we could do in terms of action, right? We really got our building team moving and stretching itself, which was awesome. Um, Now I think that we're kind of maybe my turn is like I'm trying to now address our flow, right? We really need a land we need to kind of get our land bank in order and funding in order so that we can I think even out our building so that we can increase how many homes we build a year with a predictable, we can have a predictable number of, if we're doing one a year this year, then two, then three, we can have a
Right.
nice steady
Right.
increase, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So I think we're just because we started as a volunteer organization and then we kind of morphed into having some staff and then we morphed into having more staff, so I think that we're just with each iteration, I apologize for that, with each iteration, we're tightening our, we're tightening our wheels a little bit, if that makes sense. We're getting
Yes.
ourselves into a refined flow. So really
Yeah,
trying
I think
to
I mean, that's what you
further
want.
establish our relationships with communities, make sure they know we're here.
Nice.
Really trying to get our land and funding streams a little bit steadier.
So when you say land, you mean you have to buy the land from homeowners that are just letting the land just be there and rot as opposed to, trying to sell it
Believe it or
for
not, municipalities
profit?
usually donate the land. So in the
Oh, they
case of
donate, okay.
yeah, in the case of White House Station, Reddington Township donated that land to us as well as funding. So they were so supportive of Habitat and our programs. And each municipality does have affordable housing requirements. They have to have a certain
Requirement,
number of
yes,
affordable homes that they have to build.
yes.
And in many cases, we're so lucky that municipalities recognize the value of our program, that they're eager to engage us. And in doing that, I think that, part of that is that they often will give us the land. And that's very helpful for us because then we kind of have a starting point. So working with
Yeah, I mean, that's great
municipalities.
that you don't it's great that you don't have to buy the land because then you have to add that on to the cost of the home then. So it's always
Exactly.
great when people donate the land.
It is. It's and it really is the only way we can function, just
True.
because we have to get that funding for the other stuff. And if you think about it, even when you get a plot of land, which is the best, um, you have to make sure it has all the utilities. You have to make sure the water is going there, the sewer is, the sewer hookups. Do you
True.
need a well? Do you need a There's
Yeah,
a lot of work to do after you have a spot. So,
yeah.
having that spot's pretty important, and I'm gonna knock on all kinds of wood, but we've been so lucky to work with such incredible, you know, town administrators and mayors and councils who really believe in what we do, and so we're really grateful for that.
That's really very impressive. What are you looking ahead for 5 and 10 years? What is your vision for your habitat, organization?
My vision is to do bigger builds. So we have a memorandum of understanding with Lambertville for 6 units on a plot. We are talking to Hillsborough about a larger plot. We're working with Franklin Township. I think my goal is to have slightly larger pieces of land where we can then roll out, more efficiently, nicely tailored to the community affordable homes in larger spaces, and again to increase our capacity. I want to make sure we don't lose sight of that repair program. I feel like keeping one of the biggest ways we affect affordable home ownership is by keeping people who are already in affordable homes in them safely, right? So I want to make sure that if you have one, you're not being pushed out because you don't have a roof or a furnace and now you're in an untenable rental market, right? I want to make sure you're staying there safely. So I want to make sure we get to keep those programs, our neighborhood revitalization, our repair programs solid and strong. I'd like to increase our building and I would like to expand our educational programs. We have an almost home program that helps people who aren't quite maybe home purchase ready,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
they, are looking maybe in that 5-year range. Our almost home program really helps people figure out what paperwork they need, maybe what they need to do with their credit, what are some, just kind of those um key things to focus on if
Right,
that's in your future and how you get
right,
ready for,
right.
for home ownership and home purchase. I'd like to expand those programs. and a little bit further. So yeah, just more of the same. We do incredible work. I feel like it's so valuable and important in our counties, and I just want to do more of it.
Yeah, I think that's, I'm so glad that you're able to come in and share all that. Can you share a story of can you share us one story of hope, from the time that you've been with Habitat, that really stayed with you and reminded you why this work is so important?
Yeah, I absolutely can. I mean, I would bore you and tell you 10, but I will pick one. Um,
Just one. Just one.
I'm gonna tell you about, our homeowner, Tasha, who is somebody that, she came into our program early in my tenure, so probably I'm trying to think when we did that selection for she's in our one of our Raritan Township homes. Tasha was so we kind of maybe she was in my second or maybe first or second selection process. And Tasha was at that point when she applied for homeownership with Habitat, she was living in Burlington County. She is a product of our foster care system. She went through foster homes growing up. She did an incredible job kind of self rearing under those circumstances. She then was in a long term relationship with her fiance. They had two beautiful children, and he died of a drug overdose in their apartment in Burlington County. So then she was left with a broken heart, devastated, aftermath, and two children. And Tasha found solace by she then got herself a job with the Good News Home for Women in Hunterdon County because that she felt very drawn toward faith-based recovery programs for people who were addicted, and that was what the Good News Home for Women was. So she was then commuting almost an hour each way to work this job because she felt like
Wow,
it was the way that she was working out her own grief. She fortunately, her children had wonderful, school program in Burlington County, so she could kind of back and forth, but it was a lot of miles, a lot of stress, a lot of hours, and she was
wow,
struggling. And so when she came to us, she was applying for a home that was within 5 minutes of her job. Suddenly, this is a community she had been really putting all of her efforts into, but she could never be there after hours because she was racing home to see her kids. And
right,
so
right.
when she
Yeah,
came through, she did qualify for the home. She helped build it. Tasha is like this huge, amazing personality. As she was doing this, she was volunteering for the prosecutor's office right around the
wow,
block from her home because she was helping get people out of the criminal justice system and into recovery instead. She was just at all of these events, just really striving to make the world a better place. Clearly, her sweat equity was like no problem for her because she was just volunteering everywhere all the
yeah,
time in her community, in her home. Now, Tasha has been in her home they moved in, I want to say 2 years, and it's the first really stable home she's ever had. It's an incredible house for
wow,
her
right,
kids. The kids are doing so well in school.
yeah,
She's moved on to the collaborative support what's it called? The collaborative support programs of New Jersey. So she's a caseworker there. She does outreach work for unhoused people. She is on the Tri-County board for Warren, Sussex, and Hunterdon counties where she does more work for homeless people. She's been seeking a grant so that she can offer more support systems for people suffering with addiction problems. She's just like this incredible gift that keeps on giving. I feel like she got one hand up and
yeah,
all she does is rain it on everybody else. All she does is take
wow,
what she's gotten, and
yeah,
every time I would give her something, every time we would give her a workshop or a seminar, she would turn around and give that same workshop or seminar to the women that she was working with in the Good News
yeah,
Home for Women. So, like, everything you did for her was
yeah,
magnified to all these other people. So, that's that's worth it. Now
yeah,
we're talking about not just her generations, but all the people she's reaching now. She just
right,
is
yeah.
has a mind and
She's
heart for
giving back, she's giving back to the community, and that's what it's all about,
it
receiving and
is.
giving back. Finally, if there's someone listening out there, Jessica, who wants to donate, volunteer, or learn more, where should they start?
They should absolutely go to our website, which is RV, like Raritan Valley, habitat.org. There's information on there. You can find contact information. You can call me. My number's on there. You can call,
Okay.
call anybody, but you can find ways to get involved. Click the get involved. You can volunteer, donate, go to one of our restores. We've got amazing restores in Manville and Clinton. You can volunteer at those stores. You can donate goods to those stores. You can purchase great merchandise from those stores. There are lots of ways to get involved.
Is the donation tax deductible?
Yes, it
Okay,
is. Absolutely. We're a 501(c)(3). Your donations are tax deductible to us. And if you donate to one of the restores, you get a receipt as well.
that's great. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. This has been such a fun conversation. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you for coming in and sharing what Habitat for Humanity does for the state of New Jersey. And I have to say, I want to thank Habitat for Humanity all over America, helping all the families. I think it's a wonderful organization. And I will link all the information on the description how people can donate and volunteer and the gala
Yes,
on
please come to our gala. Honestly, it's gonna be a great night. It's a really
that's going to be
wonderful
great too.
event.
So, Jessica, thank you so much for your time and you have a great evening.
Thank you, you too. It was great to talk
Thank
to you.
you. Thank you.